Filipina tennis sensation Eala bows out in Australian Open main draw debut against Alycia. Avantimes.com. Filipina tennis prodigy Eala concluded her maiden main draw appearance at the Australian Open on January 19, 2026, falling to American Alycia in a three-set battle. The 20-year-old Eala, a fan favorite, garnered significant crowd support on Court 6 in Melbourne but ultimately succumbed to Parks, 25, with a final score of 0-6, 6-3, 6-2 after 1 hour and 56 minutes of play. Eala, making her debut in the main draw after 3 previous attempts in the qualifying rounds, initially dominated the match. She broke Parks in a marathon 12-minute opening game that featured 8 breakpoint opportunities, swiftly securing the first set in just 22 minutes. However, the momentum shifted dramatically in the second set as Parks, a more experienced player from Atlanta, elevated her intensity. Shots that had previously missed their mark began finding the lines, allowing Parks to win 12 of the subsequent 17 games and secure her spot in the second round of the tournament. Reflecting on the outcome, Eala expressed a mix of disappointment and gratitude. "I think it's only normal that with a loss comes disappointment and being upset. But then again, it's another opportunity for me to take and learn and grow as a player," Eala stated. She also acknowledged the overwhelming support from the spectators, the fact that everyone came out and really squeezed into that cozy court. "I really appreciate it. I felt so loved. It was so heartwarming. That's one of the things that makes a loss like today a little bit harder is I know a lot of people were rooting for me. But then again, Alycia played really well." Eala entered the Australian Open as one of the most anticipated players on the women's tour, following a breakout 2025 season. Her achievements last year included a memorable semifinal run at the Miami Open, where she defeated Grand Slam champions Jelena Ostapenko and Madison Keys. She also secured a challenger event title in Guadalajara and climbed into the world's top 50 rankings. Avantimes observed that Eala continued her strong form into the current season, reaching the semifinals at the ASB Classic in Auckland and winning the Kooyong Classic prior to Melbourne Park. Following her victory, Alycia is set to face Czech Republic's Karolina Muchova in the second round. Muchova advanced after defeating Romania's Jacqueline Christian in straight sets earlier on Monday afternoon. The Australian Open has a particular sound to it. The sharp pop of the ball on hardcourt, the murmur of anticipation that rolls like surf through Melbourne Park, the sudden hush before a serve that might change a match or a life. On that blue stage, where legends are minted and dreams are tested under a brutal summer sun, Filipina tennis sensation Eala took her first steps into the main draw. It ended in defeat, yes, but not in diminishment. Against the power and pace of Alycia, Eala bowed out, head high, eyes forward, carrying with her the quiet thunder of a beginning. For the Philippines, tennis has often lived in the margins of sporting conversation, overshadowed by basketball courts and boxing rings. Yet Eala has been patiently redrawing that map. From her junior Grand Slam triumphs to her steady climb through the professional ranks, she has carried not just a racket but a promise that a Filipina could belong on the biggest courts in the world. The Australian Open main draw debut was less an arrival than a declaration. "I am here, and I am staying." Across the net stood Alycia, a player built for the modern game. Her serve is a statement, her forehand a verdict delivered with little room for appeal. Parks represents the present, raw athleticism sharpened by experience, power amplified by confidence. The matchup, on paper, looked uneven. On court, it unfolded as expected in some ways, and unexpectedly in others. From the opening games, Parks asserted herself, dictating rallies with first-strike tennis. Eala absorbed the pressure with composure that belied her age, moving well, defending bravely, and choosing her moments to counterpunch. There were points, brief, bright flashes, where the Filipina's touch and timing bent the match into something else entirely. A perfectly weighted drop shot here, a backhand threaded down the line there. In those moments, the crowd leaned in, sensing the future trying to break through the present. But Grand Slam tennis is a relentless teacher. It exposes gaps with unsentimental clarity. Park's serve limited Eala's opportunities, and when chances came, they arrived fleetingly. The Americans' power turned neutral rallies into sprints Eala was forced to chase, and over time, the scoreboard reflected that reality. The match slipped away not in drama, but in accumulation, game by game, point by point, the margins revealing themselves. Still, defeat can be generous if you listen closely. For Eala, this loss offered a syllabus no training block could replicate. The speed of decision-making at the highest level, the physical toll of sustained power, the mental stamina required when the court seems to tilt against you. These are lessons learned not in theory but in sweat, in the split second between a save toss and a retain, in the long walk to the changeover chair. What lingered after the final point was not disappointment, but possibility. Eala did not look overwhelmed by the occasion. She looked calibrated by it. She acknowledged her opponent with grace, thanked the crowd, and carried herself like someone who understands that careers are not defined by single matches but by the courage to keep entering them. For young Filipinas watching from afar, from schools, barangays, and living rooms where tennis is played on cracked concrete or not at all, this mattered. Representation is not just about winning trophies. It is about being visible in spaces that once felt unreachable. Eala's presence in the Australian Open main draw expanded the imagination of what is possible. It whispered to a generation, your dreams are not misplaced. The narrative of sports often rushes toward endings. Who won? Who lost? Who advanced? But beginnings deserve their own reverence. This match was a beginning written in effort and humility, a chapter that ends with a bow not of surrender, but of respect, for the game, for the moment, for the road ahead. Alycia will return to Melbourne Park, and to other Grand Slam courts, stronger for this encounter. The serve will come back faster, the rally tolerance deeper, the belief steadier. Losses like this do not close doors, they teach you how to open them. On a sunlit court in Australia, a Filipina stepped into the main draw of a Grand Slam and met the sport as it is, beautiful, unforgiving, and full of promise. She bowed out, yes. But more importantly, she stepped forward.